The Michigan Wolverines, you see what's coming back for Michigan, an NCAA tournament team last year. A little bit of turnover on the coaching staff, and we'll speak about that with head coach John Beilein coming up here. But plenty of production back from Michigan for that team that won a game in the tourney last year, nearly knocked off Notre Dame as well. John Beilein is with us, and coach, as I look over your team, there is a lot of experience. Clearly, there are some new faces who you're going to have to try to figure out how you fit in. And I think the backcourt is particularly interesting. It looks like it's going to be a three-man rotation there. You'll have Xavier Simpson in with a couple of more familiar faces returning. How do you envision that working out in terms of minutes and in terms of roles, particularly with Derek Walton?
I mean, if we can stay healthy, those have been the best. Wherever I was coaching, the best rotations probably had 8 or 9 people playing. And I think you see that. People shorten their bench at the end of the year. But it's got to be meaningful minutes. It's got to be, you know, that if you're going to rotate 3 guards at 2 positions, like we may do this year, it can't be 2 guys getting 36 and 1 guy getting 8.
Right.
You know, it's got to be some equality there, and I think we can do that. And if we can do that and stay healthy, then I think we really get a good rhythm going. So, and as you know, at this level. There's 2 seasons. There's that preseason where you're trying to build an RPI resume so that if some things go wrong in the Big Ten and you don't win it, or you're not in the top 2, you can still get in the NCAA tournament. You got to win some of those games, and we have some good ones.
I think the center position is really interesting for you as well. Mark Donnell, we saw come on significantly last year. Mo Wagner, I remember you telling me when I did a non-conference game, you said every once in a while there's a moment in practice where you just say,
it's still happening today. It's a moment, and you'll see him, and you'll say, oh my gosh, what was I thinking when I was recruiting him that he was going to play for us? And then he'll do something, and you'll say, oh, my goodness, that's what I saw.
Right.
And it's still happening.
How do you get more of the latter?
No, I know. We need more of the latter. Yes. And he is a wonderful kid to coach. And he is getting better every day. And it's not quick enough for anybody, but that is a big key to this thing. I think Mark Donnell, coming out and being in incredible shape and just playing his talent and playing every ounce of energy he has every minute. And then Maurice and DJ Wilson, who have all had very insignificant minutes. They've had good games, but insignificant minutes. They got to come out and have significant minutes in significant games. Somebody else besides Derek and Zach has to help us win games, and those guys can. So we're going to give them that opportunity. They intend on taking advantage of it.
We're talking players, but you mentioned coaches earlier, and coaches are key. Not obviously the head coach, but assistant coaches are key too. How rewarding is it, and how difficult is it when you lose 2 coaches to head coaching jobs?
It was great, and I mean, these guys have worked hard. So I think there's now 7 Division I head coaches that from all the way from Reggie Witherspoon, who played for me at Erie Community College, all the way now to these 2 that are head coaches in Division I. And I'm really proud of it, and I love it. But every day of every practice right now is a transition. Our practice meetings are an hour and a half to 2 hours long because I'm still explaining the drills. The theories are different. Billy Donlin and Sadie Washington give me incredible new information that we're using. And then there's the old guard stuff that I want to do that we've always done that's been successful that I got to explain to them, okay, here's the drill. It's been more about that. But the refreshing ideas that we get, I think we're trading back and forth. It's all good. That change is really good for everybody. Those 2 are going to be great head coaches. At the same time, Sadie and Bill Donlin are outstanding as well.
Now, you have a system in place, and you expect new assistants to learn your system and be able to implement that system. But what do you take from new assistants? Do you learn? I mean, you learn a lot. Maybe there's a different way of doing things. How much do you grow when you bring somebody new into the program?
When we selected these 2 coaches, that was part of the idea. If anybody watched us last year, defense was not a strength, so we have to improve the defense. I went around, and it was much. I looked at who do I think are the best defensive coaches in the country. If Bill Donlin was still the coach at Wright State, he would have stayed at Wright State. He got let go to Wright State, and their decision is our fortune. Because this guy really sees, he has an eye for defense that we play defense. We've hit our best teams, and we've won a couple championships, and we've done okay. Have played good defense. Probably never stellar defense, but pretty good. This guy is just incredible defensive coach. And then Sadie Washington, I've watched the Oakland guys. He came from Oakland. Their big men especially get better and get better and get better every year. And I'm watching, and he's working with our big men right now, and I'm excited about the new ideas he's bringing to us as well.
How do you improve as a defensive team without changing your identity? Because I know, I mean, you're an offensive-minded team. You always have been. You space the floor well. You get the ball in and out. You get up and down the floor. How do you become better defensively without changing really who you are?
But it's an emphasis in practice. It's just an emphasis. But when you look at this thing, right, and it's very simplistic, and I tell our guys this, people shot against. That's atrocious. It's bad. It's only 7 possessions away from being 39%. Just change 7 damn possessions. 2 of them are in transition defense, where maybe we're picking up the ball at different angles or we're doing it differently. How we're guarding the ball screen. Maybe there's 2 or 3 there we'll do better. Contesting shots, just 2 or 3 better. We're there.
Yeah.
We're there. It's just 7 possessions.
That easy, right?
3.5. 3.5 a half, Dave, and we can be better. So
I'm on board with you.
No.
Yeah.
So you just convince your kids, but you don't know when those 7 possessions are coming.
Right.
And
so
how
you got to play every one like it's the possession.
And how heavily do you rely on experience? You know, guys like Zach Irvin, guys like Derek Walton Jr., who you really have to
Here's what I think would be the difference right now is because of the pro attrition and our young kids maybe not being ready, and I didn't think they were ready, and then the injuries, we haven't had the latitude to say, hey, go out there, Zach, and I don't care if you foul 3 times in the first half or 2 times in the first half or get fouls. We're fine. No, we weren't fine if Derek Walton, our only point guard, was in foul trouble. Yeah. So when given a chance of play that guy aggressively, try and take the ball from him or defend him harder and get fouled, it would be like just play it safe. Yeah. And that's not how you play good defense. But when you don't have a big depth, you know, you have to you get caught in between.
And that certainly changes this year. You have a 3-guard rotation.
Yeah, if we can stay with Xavier and Derek, we're going to play both of them at the same times. That'll be incredible. Nobody will be quicker than us in the backcourt.
Well, Derek's always done a good job defending full court, but without fouling too much. Last year was a tough one because of the rule changes. They started.
It was tough. And when we lost Spike last year, then it was really different for him. And then we lost Karras. So all of a sudden he was like the only guy that could guard somebody else's point guard. And he still did a great job with it.
I mean, there's a lot of holes to fill. Spike certainly being one of them. How much of a challenge is it to see him?
Oh, it's a big challenge. I mean, I love the kid. I mean, that he and I go way, way back from when I visited Northfield Mount Hermon, and everybody was like saying, well, you got to be kidding me. That kid's going to Michigan? And guess what? That kid's going to Purdue, too. And, no, it's like, and I don't love that he's in the league, but if it's that's what's best for him, right? I don't think it's a great precedent to have, but if that's what's best for him, then I'm happy about it because that kid gave us 4 incredible years of basketball, leadership, the whole thing.
And you also understand what goes in behind it, how people persevere, how kids persevere through injury, and how they stay on as leaders. Can you rely on Derek Walton Jr. this year to be the leader that
I've seen these guys were forced to be leaders when they were sophomores. When they turned around and there was nobody around that was all they thought would be around. And maybe nobody's ready for that. Hey, you're a leader. You got to grow into that. They have grown into it. I'm telling you that Zach and Derek are going to be incredible leaders this year. I can't wait. We're going to go shoulder to shoulder, and we're going to have a hell of a time, and we're going to try and have a hell of a year.
Where have you seen the most improvement from Zach? I know last year you mentioned defensively he got significantly better, and a lot of that comes with just being in the right position.
He's had to do everything. He'll switch a ball screen and guard a point. And he guarded in a great, incredible win for us, which helped us put in the answer. We beat Purdue at our place. He guarded Caleb Swanigan, a 50-pound disadvantage, in the post like a warrior, and then made the big shots down the stretch. So you can't do that. Guy like you, man, they put you on the worst offensive player, and then they say go the ball and go score. We had to put arguably our best player on one of their best players. He had to play defense and offense, and he got it done. But that wears you down over a season. That really
especially
wears you
in Big
down.
Ten play.
Oh yeah. And so I think the next. I don't know if the next game if he could hardly move. He was so beat up. But that's what he did, and that's what I love. He's become a warrior. Coach, I just want to play.
You were talking about Spike earlier, and that there were a lot of people who thought he couldn't play in the Big Ten, and here he is, literally the biggest stage in the country. hitting huge shots in the national championship game. Duncan Robinson's an amazing story, too. I mean, here's a guy who is a Division III player, and he was the talk of the Big Ten for about the first 6 weeks or so last year. And then it does feel like there was this slide a little bit in conference play. So how do you get him back to that level of consistency of where he was shooting the ball at the outset of last season?
I think he's never had that type of attention. I mean, in Division III in high school, you don't have the synergy, and the people are sitting and they're studying you, and they're studying you, and they're studying our plays. They got, all kinds of people, literally hundreds, counting synergy, hundreds of people analyzing your game. And then the data comes to Tom Izzo and Thad Matta and Tom Crean, and they're saying, okay, that's never happened. And now he had to realize, I'm going to have to not only, it's not whether my shot's going in, can I even get a shot off? Yeah. And how you do that is you cut better, you run harder on the fast break. He's learned all those things. So there's a book I'm reading right now, The Obstacle is the Way. The obstacle is he couldn't get his shot off. Well, what the way is, if you want to play him professionally, he does, get it off quicker, run faster, get open, right? And now he knows that. And I'm expecting you're going to see even more improved and more significant minutes from him.
We were talking earlier about Derek Walton and how his role is going to evolve on this team. What do you think about Derek Walton off the ball? I mean, how does that, how important is that going to be in what you do this year?
It's amazing you say that, Dave, because I just been thinking about this. When you go down it's like a quarterback then saying, okay, I want you to be the running back or the wide receiver for these next couple plays. They're probably going, man, I get to run that post pattern, or you're gonna hit me with some bubble screen, And that's what's happening. We're going to say, okay, you're running the team. You got to shoot it more. You're running the team. You're running the team. And then we're going to say, you're the hunter. You're the hunter. Let Xavier run the team, and now you're hunting shots. You would love that.
I love that.
You would love that.
I'm itching right now. Give me the green light. I'm ready to go.
And he can hunt. And when he has that mentality, when him and Spike were in the lineup together, we were a little small, but he could really shoot it. And so that's what you're gonna see, Dave.
Well, we are looking forward to watching it. John Beilein, always generous with your time. Head coach of Wolverines.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Coach.